Okay, everybody. Okay, everybody. Have you had a chance to talk? Yeah, you've had a good chance to talk. What sort of ideas came out? Can we start with this group over here? Anything that was said from this group? And please listen to the other groups if you could, because they could come out with some really interesting stuff.
Yeah, so
okay? Right, thank you.
Yeah, we've been talking about two things, and I would like to start with the first one. So I do use songs and lyrics, and I think it not only helps to introduce some revised vocabulary and grammar. I believe if you choose some songs that you and your students like both, it will help you to feel some togetherness, maybe to unite.
I like that, yeah. Good thought. Any comments on that, or any other group like to say what they talked about?
We mentioned that too.
Yeah. So how does it achieve, how do songs achieve that togetherness? Lovely word. How is that achieved?
It's a collective thing.
Right. Yeah. So they're experiencing the same thing. Right. It's there to discuss. Commonality. Nice word. Any other comments or anything? Anybody like to share what they talked about?
We were discussing why we use music,
Yeah.
as you were saying.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you want to focus on a language point or the mechanics of the English, you can use music as a tool. You can raise the volume.
Yeah.
So the student also has to raise his or her voice.
All right, like turning it up, like Lonnie was doing. Yeah.
At some point, they're yelling at you, Michelle or
Yeah.
Carlo. The music's too loud. You think perfect English. Well done.
Yeah. And it's very real life, isn't it? Because how many situations is it completely quiet when you're trying to talk? Hardly ever. I mean, if you live, for example, if you live in London, you don't have to live in London. I mean, everybody's shouting over the top of everybody else. So it's very real life with practice like that and talking like that. Anything else? Is this lovely stuff?
Yeah. So for me, the perfect thing is when I see those smiles on my students' faces.
Yeah.
They are very happy because they are singing.
Yeah.
And you can feel that they are more self-confident because they have the lyrics in front of them, and they are reading. Oh, great! I can speak English. Oh, I can sing also.
Yeah.
So that's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Especially when teaching vocabulary.
Lovely, and it's not asking too much of them often because there's not that many lyrics, are there? Not that many words in a song, and it depends on the song.
But sometimes you have the problem of the grammar structure is completely wrong.
Yes.
I mean, like it's been a hard day's night. Think about that hard day's night, and and
God knows what that means anyway.
Yeah,
we discuss what is a hard day's night.
And so, I mean, I used to teach in a prison, so I had to deal with rap all the time.
Right.
And and you're talking about some rough stuff, okay, and it's just not English. Some of this music is not English.
Well, it is. It's another kind.
English, but it's Ebonics. It has a lot of Ebonics and so forth. But so that becomes a problem. But you just have to learn which music you want to choose. I mean, that's an important thing. Make sure you choose something that's grammatically.
So this was English as a second language in a prison to people so people like from.
Well, actually, I was teaching Spanish students, but But I wasn't supposed to teach ESL because they didn't want them to learn it because when they were released, they wanted to go back to the home country.
Yeah.
So
see, I think rap would be perfect.
But I did teach them on the side. In violation.
I think rap would be perfect because it's whatever they're interested in.
Yeah.
Why say no? We don't want to do that for X reason. You're interested in that, so let's do that.
If you're teaching in prison, that's what you're going to do.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Yeah. It's amazing the different backgrounds, that, with the little stories like our friends here. Anybody else like to share, or should we get on?
So we didn't mention that in the discussion, but it occurred to me that once they like the song, they're going to sing it for themselves and do the repetitions.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah. So there are. We won't spend a long time on what theorists have said, but we will put these things up there. There are some no-brainers. It's fun. Well, we know that. We don't need a theorist to tell us that, but it is there. Motivating, yes, people have said that already. Once again, the same thing. You can wait until the slide's fully up, and I'll leave it on there for a while if you like. So we get into the more meaningful comments. Help with stimulating and facilitating learning. Help learners' attention and assist with on-task behaviour, whatever the task might be, but without deviating too much from what it is you're intending to do. It's an interesting one here by Wassing. Certain characteristics of song lyrics themselves, for example, length, rhyme, repetition, mentioned by some people already, make them very easy to work with. Forget that. And an interesting one also by Jolly, so he's clearly got a lot more to say than just fun. Relationship between language and music is an easily recognisable one. And, thus, language teachers may be missing a great deal if they don't exploit this as a classroom teaching aid. This is the one I said, sorry, did I go too quick? Did anyone want to? I'll make these available anyway, but it's always nice, isn't it, if you want to immediately come back to it. This is the one I said that refers to things specifically that I'm not going to talk through. So there's more detail there about from theorists about, just for example, grammar in situ as it occurs within the song, pronunciation use, and then you could add loads to this, I'm sure, vocabulary use and other things. For example, cultural understanding. We're going to come back to culture in a few slides. Things like that. So if everyone's happy with that. Okay. Like I said, it's there, but I don't want to bore you to death. It's supposed to be a workshop, right? Yeah. Okay, so talking about culture then, and there are some quotes here that are worth thinking about. So Griffey says that songs offer insight into culture, and the quote is, providing a window into the frames of reference and values of the peoples whose language we are learning. So if, for example, we have an ESOL student in the UK, so we have people here that are refugees, I'm picking out something that I'm going to talk about a bit later, but they would need to learn, or it'd be a good idea to learn about culture through language, for example. Film also would work, of course. Mishan says that songs are revelatory of their culture, the culture from which they come from, in both depth and breadth. Dwayne Eng says that they offer a potentially culturally rich resource, so you can teach cultural norms of a country that perhaps, in the example there that they're going to move to, or they're settling in, and the ideals of a target language. Alan Polvaness points out that materials, though, should be informed by cultural learning objectives, and this isn't done enough, he goes on to say there. And Griffey also points out that, one of the things to remember is music is not universal. We can fall into that trap of thinking it is universal. An example in the UK might be thinking, well, the Beatles, they're universal, the messages are universal. No, they're not, actually. They're probably pretty close to that, but they're universal within particular Western cultures, right? And this is pointed out by Griffey. He says that every song is a cultural capsule. Other people use terms like cultural artifact, I think, is another term, pretty much the same thing, containing within itself a significant piece of social information. So therefore, bringing a song into the classroom entails bringing the culture of the song with it. So this is almost like a warning. You're not, it's a song, it's going to be light. Okay, some of the stuff we were dancing to last night, ABBA's Dancing Queen, is not too culturally, for example, is not too culturally challenging. But maybe it is. Maybe it's a taboo or something in some cultures. So there's always that. So this conference is on psychology and language learning, isn't it? And a book that I should have read more of than I have. It's sitting in my camper and I haven't actually had a chance to have a look at it, but too much. But I've had a bit of a skim read of it. Is a book called This Is Your Brain on Music. And it's not about language learning per se. But Daniel Levitin, I think it's pronounced, says that human beings are hardwired for music, right? And the book is an interesting expose into the mysteries of why, for example, those things that happen, that we don't know why they happen. Something very serious is going on in the human brain. You hear a few bars of a song and you can recognize it. What's going on there? Something special. And the thing of the mystery of the song stuck in your head syndrome, is it usually a great song or is it usually a trashy song? Depends. Okay. With me, it's always trashy songs. I think I've got good taste in music, but it always seems to be the trashy songs that stick in my head for some reason. Really try and get them out. I must get something cool into my head because this isn't cool. I don't know what it says under there. But I suppose he seeks to discover what music can teach us about our brains, and what our brains can teach us about music, as well as what music can teach us about ourselves. And there's lots and lots. When you start looking at it, I thought, yeah, I'll have a quick look at psychology of music and language learning. Got to the university where I work, the section, I was like, I'm not going to have a quick look through that. But there's a lot out there that's very interesting. I was involved in ESOL. I'm not anymore at the moment because I've just been given full-time history hours. But I've done ESOL teaching in the past, and ESOL learners, English to speakers of other languages, are people that come to live and work in the UK. Often there's some reason. They're refugees, they're so-called asylum seekers from difficult regimes and the like. And it's a very interesting, I think, the use of music with such people. Although you will have a very wide range of nationalities and cultures there. But I think that it's a kind of life skill, and that the lessons that you construct with music can deal with real issues. There's a way into real issues where you can sort of put it at a distance, you know, somehow. So these things might be affecting them, but rather than, oh, so what sort of problems are going on in your life? You can bring some of those issues up that might be happening through a song and depersonalize it to some extent. There's no doubt, I think, that songs reflect the society which we live in. We had the culture slide earlier, the people within a country, the relationships that people have with each other, the history of that country, the historical events, the things that have made it what it is. And I think, you know, there's something about songs, as we saw last night. Okay, so we had a great do last night, didn't we? And a lot of us hadn't talked to each other before. I think I'd only maybe talked to 10 people up to that point, you know. But it's a way of bringing people together that nobody quite knows why or how that is. You know, that's interesting. It's like food as well. If you have one of those parties at school where you share food from different cultures and different countries, it's a lovely experience, isn't it? As we talked about already, I think the songs relate to cultural issues. They can foster discussion about those issues. We've pretty much talked about this already. And it's a way to help people in this situation, the ESOL situation, better understand current events, I think, what's going on in their adopted country, without just saying, let's have a look at the newspaper. You know, it could be a bit tedious. No one really likes reading that much, you know, and an alternative to doing that, for example. And I think the whole idea is teaching is you need to go beyond, with songs particularly, you need to go beyond the language, you know. So living life for people in the UK, for example, refugees and asylum seekers, involves them knowing how to communicate with people. So definitely knowing taboo words, you know, not shying away from that, you know, receptively at least, I've put there. You know, we're not going to, right, today we're going to talk about, I'm going to make you swear. No, but it's a nice idea for them to understand what's being said to them and the intonation with which it's being said. And music and an awareness of songs and music can do that, right? And feel free to disagree. Yeah, yeah. So, what can we do with a song? I think it's probably more a case of what we can't do, to be fair. The sort of guru of songs and song lyrics is someone called Tim Murphy, who brought out this book a long time ago. It's still on. You know, when you go to the big conferences like ITEFL, it's still selling in the Bournemouth bookshop, etc. But in this book in 1992, he said, in language learning, anything you can do with a text, you can also do with a song. So that's something to remember. But I think it's more than that, because it's a text plus, isn't it? Because you've got the words there, but you've got the sound, you've got the emotions, and you've got everything else on top. Yeah, which you could probably, you know, do a talk on that in itself, I think. So I've put there every conceivable skill. I mean, can anyone think of a skill that can't be practiced with a song? I like to allow myself to fall into a pit. Can you think of a skill that can't be practiced with a song?
You mean a language skill?
Yeah, a language skill.
I mean, it's a text, so obviously every single skill can be practiced.
Fair enough.
Writing.
Which one?
Writing.
Writing.
No, I mean.
I'll show you some materials later.
Writing, like gut feeling, yeah, but
Creative writing.
maybe composing after listening to the song. Like, can you write a song of your own? Yeah.
Well, no, there's all sorts of things. There's songs about a particular theme, right on that theme. analyse, sorry, there have to be steps, wouldn't there? Analyse what was going on there. Write I do one as an agony aunt or an agony uncle. You've got to do in these days of equality.
Yeah.
Men can be
I want to remember
dealing with agony too.
In lifestyles, there is a complaint, a choir, and they did write complaints.
There really is loads. You just have to sit down and think, and not go. Well, it's probably only just this, and that has been the impediment, I think, in this. So it's over to you again, and you can still stay in your group. So when we get to the 10, I'll be more dictatorial and divide this group up. But I'm going to ask you specifically to think about pre-listening, focusing on the topic or the theme, grammar and lexis. So there's also another one of these slides. So about 2 or 3 minutes to think of some ideas as a group about these things. Maybe do like one each or talk about them together. All right? So things that fit into these categories.
You don't show them the lyrics, but you talk about the contents something like
maybe you can activate a topic, but name a topic, so you activate them now, maybe asking by name what do you know, something, or bring a picture,